Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my channel. Let's study SST. Hope you are doing well. Let's start the class. Do you remember that yesterday we studied about two country story? One is Belgium and another is Sri Lanka. Even though these two countries were democratic countries, but there was difference in power sharing. Okay, so because of unequal power sharing in Sri Lanka, there was civil war, and because of equal power sharing in Belgium, it became a model country for other democratic countries, because there was equal sharing of power among the different levels of government. Also, power sharing was among the different social groups. Okay, so now today let's start the topic of majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. You can see in the screen it is written majoritarianism. So what is majoritarianism? By its name you can understand majoritarianism meaning when a government is formed by the majority people living in that country. So in case of Sri Lanka, the majoritarian group was Sinhala group and they practiced Buddhism. Clear? Here you will see Sri Lanka got independent in 1948 after 1 year of India's independence. Why we are talking about Sri Lanka's independence? Because Sri Lanka also was under colonial rule. They had their own constitution, but they thought to bring change in their constitution. So in 1956 you can see an act was passed to recognize Sinhala as their official language, and they disregarded the Tamil people or Tamil language. You will see the Sinhala supremacy was established. Supremacy meaning what they feel like doing, they will be doing. They did not give opportunity to the Tamil people. Tamil people felt that their language is not recognized. Also, they were denied of all kinds of rights, and they did not have political rights to form their party and elect their representatives, and they did not have any separate province. So all these were the problems occurred in Sri Lanka after independence, and when the constitution was amended in 1956, and this led mistrust between these two communities. And when there was mistrust between these two community, what happened? Tamil people, they formed their own political party. So that was very aggressive party. Even though in this chapter it is not written, but they established their political party, that was LTTE, known as Little Tamil Tiger. No Buddhist Sinhala leader took care of the demand of the Tamil people. So what were the demands by the Tamil people? They are Tamil should be recognized as official language. They must have their autonomous region. Autonomous meaning they must have their independent region where they can elect their own representative and rule over themselves, so that they can take care of their own demands or needs. Second, equal opportunity in education and job, but their demands were always denied. Clear? You will see in this chapter the Sri Lankan Tamil launched, in this paragraph you can see the Sri Lankan Tamil launched parties and struggles for their recognition of Tamil as an official language, for regional autonomy and equality of opportunity in securing education and job. So you might get question, what were the demands by the Tamil people? First you can see it is regional autonomy. Tamil should be an official language, and third it is opportunity in securing education and job. Clear? Tamil as an official language, for regional autonomy and equality of opportunity, securing education and jobs. Clear? These four are very important points from your exam point of view. 1980, what happened? Several political organizations were formed demanding an independent Tamil Ilam in northern and eastern parts of Sri Lanka. Ilam meaning state. You can see it is written in the book. Okay, the distrust between these two communities turned into widespread conflict. So conflict led to civil war. And when there is any war happening in the country, what happens? 1,000 people die or lose their lives. You can see there is mass destruction of property. People lose their livelihoods, and many families are forced to flee the country, and they migrate from their country to other place. Now Israel war is going on, so you can see mass level of destruction is happening. The same thing happens in the country itself. We can see that in 2009 it ended from this story of Sri Lankan majoritarian government, that minority people were alienated. So minority people were Tamil people, and majority Sinhala people, they dominated the minority group and established their supremacy. Minority groups means Tamil people were denied of all kind of rights, right to opportunity in jobs and education, and right to vote, or having their own representative, having autonomous provinces. Also, their language was ignored. So why ignored? So here you can see one important thing, that Tamil people were fighting for their own identity. So you can recognize this as identity crisis of Tamil people. Clear? Okay, even though it is a democratic country, but it is not a true democratic country. That's why ignored the interest of the minority groups. A country like Belgium, you can see that people were given equality in terms of power, because they wanted to establish peace in their country, avoid conflicts and war. Also, they wanted to have unity in the country. If one group of a country is ignored, do you think the country will be able to establish unity? Not at next part. Next is accommodation in Belgium. So here accommodation meaning, what do you understand by accommodation? It is accommodating the needs and demands of the majority and minority group. In the story of Belgium, we saw that minority linguistic groups were given equal importance to the majority linguistic group. Clear? They did not ignore anybody. So here you can see that in between 1970 and 1993, they amended their constitution 4 times so as to work out an arrangement that would enable everyone to live together within the same country. So there is no discrimination among these two different communities. Clear? So that they can establish peace, so that they can have unity, so that they can live happily. So this is the first and foremost criteria of our true democratic country. Now, here some of the elements of Belgian model. Let's understand why it is called Belgian model. Because Belgium showed that how to establish peace in the country by sharing power among different levels of the government and different community government. Clear? Okay, first you can see that the constitution prescribed that the number of Dutch and French speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. So here you can see Dutch people at the Brussels city were in minority, but French speaking people were in majority. But country as a whole, if I talk about, Dutch people were in majority and French people were in minority. So here you can see there is no distinction between Dutch and French speaking people. All ministers shall be equal in central government as well as at the state government. Some laws are required the support of majority of members from each linguistic group. So if they want to bring any change in the law, or they want to frame any law, they needed both the linguistic groups ministers recommendation, or I must say assent. There will be no discrimination that minority group should be ignored from this lawmaking process. Okay, thus, and they unilaterally, meaning no political group, or I must say no linguistic group can make law on its own. For that they need the help of or support of other group also. Many powers of the central government have been given to state government of the two regions of the country. The state government are not subordinate to the central government. So here you can see that many powers of the central government given to the state government. Why? Because state government and central government played equal role in both the places. There was no subordination. Central government was not that powerful that it will make the state government subordinate. So state government and central government both were at the same level. They were working at the same level. Both of them had same power. There was no next you can see Brussels has separate government in which both the communities have equal representation. The French-speaking people accepted equal representation in Brussels because the Dutch-speaking community has accepted equal representation in the central government. So Brussels has separate government. Already I told you that Brussels is the capital city of Belgium. So there French-speaking people were in majority and Dutch-speaking people were in minority. Even though there was majority minority division, still the French-speaking people accepted equal representation in Brussels. Why? Because Dutch-speaking community, they were in majority at the country level, so they accepted equal representation in the, you can see, central government. Now, third important point of Belgian model is, apart from central and state government, there is a third kind of government. This is called community government. So community government is basically the government which is formed by any community. Could be linguistic community, could be cultural community, could be ethnic community. So here you can see the example, language community like Dutch, French and German speaking people. No matter where they live, this government has the power regarding cultural, educational and language related issues to discuss. Here it is, you can see these three different linguistic groups can form their own government. They can preserve their language, culture, and also they can take care of the need of the linguistic groups, their own people. They can preserve their educational institutions also. So here Belgian model was very complicated, but it was very helpful, or it was a model for other countries. Understanding? So here when European people came together and formed European Union, they made Brussels as the capital of European Union. What is European Union? European Union is a union group of many countries of Europe. They formed European Union in order to take care of their needs, cultural needs, also educational needs, economic needs, basically economic development and development of the region as a whole. So they must have a headquarter, like every country has its headquarter or capital city. It is the same. Clear, class? So what we learned from these two stories, let's understand what we learned. If I talk about Sri Lanka, in Sri Lanka exactly opposite happened of Belgium. In Belgium, each and every minority and majority group people had their equal representation at the center as well as the state. There was no discrimination on the basis of majority minority language. Second point. Third important point over here is that Belgium people, they believed in peace and unity of the country, and that's why they did not discriminate anyone. They did not make anyone feel alienated. Also, they never tried to establish their supremacy in the country. So that's why they 4 times amended their constitution so that they can have a model. But if I talk about Sri Lanka, on the other hand, Sri Lanka, they believed in majoritarian government, so that the majoritarian government can establish their supremacy. They completely denied or ignored the demands and needs of the minority groups, that is Tamil. Another important aspect over here is that not only making them feel alienated, but also to ignore their identity as a whole, and that led to civil war in Sri Lanka. So for Sri Lanka, uh, national integrity or unity was undermined. Second important point over here is that Sri Lankan people did not believe in peace, and that's why there was no equal representation by the majority and minority group. Only majority focused on their own well-being. Clear? Okay, class. Now let's move to the next part of this chapter. The next topic is why power sharing is desirable. Throughout the discussion till now, you can understand why power sharing is important. I will tell you. It helps to reduce the possibility of conflict between social groups. Second, you can see social conflict often leads to violence and political instability. So power sharing is good way to ensure stability, in order to have stability of the political order. Clear? Second important point, over the long run it will undermine the unity of the nation. So you can see in the case of Belgium, they preferred national unity, and that's why they give importance to both the community, minority and majority groups. That, and there was equal power sharing among the central and state level government. Clear? Another important aspect over here, you can see that tyranny of the majority is not just oppressive for the minority, it often affects majority adversely as well. Clear? So how it adversely affect the majority? When there is civil war, it not only minority group gets affected, but also majority group. If we see minority group as weak group, so we will be wrong, because they're also powerful in their own terms. Clear? So if like in case of Sri Lanka, we saw the Tamil people, they established LTT group. So LTT group was a very violent group, and it led to, because of that group only, they were able to have civil war in the country. You can see that there is another important reason, the deeper reason why power sharing is good for democracy, because power sharing is the very spirit of democracy. Understanding, otherwise, if I talk about military form of government or dictatorship, there will be no division of power, there will be no sharing of power or responsibility. In dictatorship, the dictator will handle everything, will take care of the country as a whole in his own terms. In military form of government, there also you will see the military head will take care of the country. There will be no division of power among the different levels of government and different organs of the government, because there the military is the head of the government. So in case of democracy, people elect their representative, that means people participation is encouraged, and there each and every levels and organs of the government given extreme priority. And you will see here, the people have the right to be consulted on how they are to be governed. The system, that means those who elect their representative also get equal chance to take part in the decision making process. Two important reasons: one is prudential reason and second is moral reason. What is prudential reason? Let's understand from here. Prudential is based on prudence means wisdom. Clear? So with the help of our wisdom, when we share power, or on careful calculation of gains or losses. So careful calculation of gains and losses, meaning in case of Sri Lanka, you can see they did not share power prudentially. Actually, they did not share power at all. And that led to the huge loss. But if I talk about in Belgium, what happened there? The ministers and people of that country carefully calculated the gains of loss. What will be the loss if they do not share power? What will be the gain if they share power? So gain over there was to establish unity in the country. Second, they saw that if they share power, that will establish peace in the country. Clear? And prudential decisions are usually contrasted with decisions based purely on moral consideration. Moral consideration meaning what they should do and what they should not do. Of this chapter we'll discuss tomorrow. Today I want to end here. So now let's sum up what we studied or what we learned. It is basically accommodation of Belgium and majoritarianism in Sri Lanka, how it affected the country as a whole, and power sharing in Belgium, how it positively changed the country's whole setup, political setup, and why power sharing is desirable. Power sharing is desirable to take care of the unity of the nation and taking care of the feelings of the other community, minority community. We can avoid conflict and civil war. We can keep up the spirit of democracy. We can stop tyranny of the majority, which is very oppressive, and power sharing will give the legitimate government to be answerable. Okay, if you like my video, please share, subscribe, and like my videos. Thank you. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.